I was hiking a section of the North Umpqua Trail, northern part of southern Oregon, a few years back with my sil. It's a 72-mile trail broken into sections that can be easily hiked in a day. At the time, I lived about midway up the trail, fairly remote in a small community. It was mid-fall this one day when we set out. The trail was running along the south side of the Umpqua River and was pretty up and down in the beginning. We made it to a fairly flat section that was running just above the river. There was this beautiful view of the river through the trees, so we stopped to get some pictures and take a water break. I immediately felt extremely uncomfortable, like someone was watching us. I slowly turned my head to look behind us, across the trail and up a very small incline. Through the trees I could see a small meadow. Across the meadow, maybe 15 yards from us, was a tent, an old, canvas-style tent. As I'm looking, I noticed bones strung from the trees all round the meadow, like creepy death wind chimes. My stomach just clenched and dropped. I leaned into Sil and whispered, "Do not turn around and look behind us. Just continue walking up the trail and run when I tell you." We were close enough to the river that nobody not right next to us could have heard this. She did exactly as I told her to, setting off at the brisk walk we'd been at before. We got maybe 10 yards, and I could hear footsteps through the forest floor. Coming from behind and slightly above us, that part of the forest is very dense. There is a thick moss cover under the trees, so footsteps on it make a very specific sound. I leaned forward and told her to pick up her speed. She did, I did, and so did whoever was behind us. I leaned forward again and told her to run as fast as she could and not stop until I told her to. For two middle-aged women, both slightly overweight, we ran like the wind. I just kept telling her, "Go, go, go." I could see ahead of us that the trail made an incline and veered to the right along the river and round a cliff. I knew at that point that whoever it was going to have to come down onto the trail or stop. We kept running. We probably ran at least a mile after that, even though we could no longer hear anyone behind or above us. That section of the trail was about 9 miles, and we were not halfway when this happened. We eventually slowed down, but just hurried as fast as we could the rest of the way. We had arranged for her younger brother to pick us up. We made it to the next trailhead fairly early, so we made our way out to 138 and started walking east towards home, knowing he'd find us. He did, and was shocked at our story. We got home and immediately called our local sheriff, who lived just above us at the ranger station. He came to the house and heard our story. He explained it might be a day or two before they could get in on the trail, as they had a missing hunter at the time they were searching for. So a few days go by and he shows up at our house to let me know that we were not crazy or imagining things and someone really did chase us. I asked what they found and who it was. He looked down at the ground and then looked up and said, "I'm not going to tell you what we found or who it was, because if I do, you will never hike anywhere again. What we found was not normal and will not happen up here again." He then instructed me to never, ever hike unarmed again. I never found out what they found or who it was. I never hiked that section of trail again, and it completely burnt last year. I also never hiked unarmed ever again. That was huge for me, as I was not a skin person. I had many incidents living up there in a national forest with wild animals and other strange things, but nothing ever scared me as much as that day. Follow for more stories.